Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calsters.
And today is Sunday, August 27th, 2017. This is episode 289. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. So, it's been a little bit. Life has happened. I'm a year older. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's go into our 2 weeks in review very quickly. So, I am a year older. I'm now 32. It's crazy. My birthday was on Thursday, and Leading Men Fiber Arts have a bit of a birthday sale as we do every year. And so, if you partook in that celebration online in our shop, thank you so very much. Andy is downstairs working on packaging orders as we speak to try to finish those out. So, they will all go out tomorrow. And last weekend, my sister and I vended at the Michigan Fiber Festival in Allegan, Michigan, and that was our first time up there, and we really enjoyed that event. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, and Friday was pretty chill and relaxed, but good traffic, and Saturday was wonderful, and Sunday was a bit slower, as Sundays tend to be, but it was good to catch up with a few people, and I had quite a few local, or I should say Michigan, shop owners that we work with stop by, and so that was good to catch up with them on the business front. So I highly recommend, if you were within driving distance, to check out the festival. It is wonderful. There are 3 buildings of vendors, plus outside vendors, food vendors, sheep and dog, and different animal demonstrations. So it was a really wonderful event. The weather was wonderful. It was very warm setting up on Thursday. We were in the newer building, but there just seemed to be no ventilation in there, even though they had the fans going. It was actually nicer outside in the sun. But other than that, it was pretty good. So that was that. And life is just kind of seeming a bit more real as school has started. And I'm no longer a high school teacher, so I am not driving to work every day and, seeing the school kids walk to school. And I am going to be substitute teaching, so I've been checking the system. I have not pulled the trigger on actually subbing yet, though I have signed on for my first day here in the next couple of weeks. But it's just, things have luckily been very busy on the business front, so I feel my energies and time are better suited staying home and working right now. So that's that. And Thursday on my birthday, we took the dogs to the vet for their, some of their shots, their rabies shots and whatnot. And it turns out Corn Dog, our Karen Terrier, has a bit of an ear infection, as well as he's got allergy issues. We found that out last year. So he's on a steroid shot and some ointment for his ear, and we get to take him back this week to make sure that the swelling's gone down and take a look inside that one ear that's really bad and check that out. So he's been a little kind of meh going around the house, but yeah, it is what it is. He's got to get better. So, and other than that, I get to take the van in to get some brake work done tomorrow, even though Andy rolls his eyes at me, but I'm like, everybody in town can hear me when I drive anywhere. Not even 2 months I've had the van and the brakes are obscenely loud. And then, of course, he drives it to work on Thursday so I could take the dogs to the vet in his car, because taking 2 dogs to a vet in a cargo van, if I put them in the back, that's just chaos and madness. And, the small cabin up front just wouldn't work for them. So, but anyway, he drove it to work. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't hear anything with the brakes. So he thinks I'm fabricating everything. But I'm insistent, and I put my foot down, and I'm getting the brakes looked at tomorrow. So that's my 2 weeks in review.
My 2 weeks have been pretty par for the course. Work has been busy. That's nothing new. We actually did something that I was really excited about this week. We sat down and strategically planned our whole year for the 17-18 year, which is really good because we've done planning for years in past, but this was the most comprehensive, the most I don't want to say it was difficult, because it wasn't. It was just a lot of thinking through the steps, thinking through all of the things that need to be done for that. And so it was a lot of time and energy. And we sat in a conference room all together from Wednesday, from 9 in the morning until 3:45 in the afternoon. Like, we broke for lunch, like,
right,
for obvious reasons, but
nobody needs hangry planning.
No, but it was a hot mess, and not a hot mess. It was a hot mess for me because I wore a dress to this meeting, and I had like a cover up as well, and I took the cover up off while we were working because I got hot. That should be no surprise there either. And it was a spaghetti strap dress, which that's why I needed the cover, because it goes against our dress code policy. And my boss is sitting in the meeting with us, so it's not like she was yelling at me or anything.
Right.
But I went to go make a point, and like I literally pointed like this mid gesture, and my strap broke, and I was so embarrassed. But my boss was like, "What happened?" Because she was looking down at her notes, and I was like, "My strap broke." She was like, "Okay, well, let's get that fixed." And I have a sewing kit in my office, but I didn't remember it until after, because I just stapled it, because I was like, I had like 4 staples holding this on, because I was like, might as well, because it was thin enough fabric that, you know, I could pick it out and whatnot. But I went on lunch and I was like, crap, I had a sewing machine in my desk, or a sewing kit.
You had a sewing machine in your desk?
Yeah, per usual.
Just flip that main desk console over. And
we actually do have sewing machines in the office, though.
Well, I would assume that, but in your desk.
But not in my desk. But anyways, so that was a little bit embarrassing, but it is what it is. And we also, so that was Wednesday, so the Tuesday before, we went to another office for this regional meeting, and it was in the USDA building. Now I'm going to catch you up to speed on this, because I feel like this is a story worth telling. So most farm bureaus are in a USDA building. This is not anything new, at least in the Midwest. I guess I shouldn't assume that for the rest of the country. But, so most farm bureaus, especially in the Midwest, are very male-dominated. In fact, it's very surprising to see a female farm bureau president. It doesn't mean it can't happen, it's just
unlikely.
Unlikely, yes. So I walk in to the USDA building where we were having our regional meeting, and I was like, this is pretty on par for every other USDA building that I have been in this part of the state. So I walk in, and I go back to our conference room, and eventually we have to break, and I went to the bathroom, and I passed their kitchen. Now, I'm going to need you to take a moment to envision this with me, because my surprise and shocked face was, I don't do surprise well. Like, my face is like clearly an indicator of I'm going to either like it or not, and you'll know right away. Like, there's no gray area. I walked by their kitchen, and their countertops was that like Formica, but it was like high sea orange, and like there's paneling and like shag carpet, and I'm pretty sure in like a room in the other like part of the office there's an original Xerox machine. I don't know if they keep pigeons locked up because for their, you know, courier system they got, but it was a hot mess. And I was telling this to someone because I said their Farm Bureau president is female and has been a female for the last 29 years. And I said, who as a female does not want to change that? And he said to me, you don't have to be female to want to change that. But seriously, I appreciate them wanting to save taxpayers' dollars, but I think anybody could argue maybe that's a change that could happen. So, anywho, that's kind of the long and the short of my last 2 weeks. Adventurous.
Orange Formica countertops.
It was a hot mess. It was such a distracting hot mess. And there was other things that clearly pointed out that this was a Farm Bureau building.
Can't say I've ever been in one. So. All right, let's get into what's taking a bow. What did we finish? I have 2 finished objects. Guess what they are?
Hats.
More hats. Because I'm nothing if not reliable on the hats lately. So yes, I did finish 2 hats. The first one I finished is the Darkest Hour hat. This is the second Darkest Hour hat I've knit, but this is going to a former student. I get to mail it out this week since I've shown it to you. I waited. It's blocked. As you can see, it's got a little bit of some heathering in there with the hand-dyed quality of this black colorway. Again, I've gone over how I knit my hats previously. They're in some of the projects, maybe my first hat. I didn't copy them into all of them, but it's just a basic worsted weight hat, 96 stitches on a size 6 and a size 8 US, which is a 4.0 and a 5.0 millimeter needle. So hopefully he'll enjoy it. Hopefully it's slouchy enough for him. I don't know. Beggars can't be choosers, right? So the second one I finished at the Michigan Fiber Festival, and that is my Steady Beat hat. And this one did some pooling and flashing.
But I think it looks neat.
No, it is cute, and I think somebody will enjoy it. This is going to be donated to the Operation Chemo Comfort charity drive, hat drive that we'll be doing later once I get the information from Kelsey. But yeah, so it did some cool pooling around the hat. But it's definitely symmetrical, and it looks like a design element almost. So, finish that off, same exact recipe. So, those are the 2 hats that I finished in the last 2 weeks. That's all that I finished.
Nice. I have not finished anything, but I did forget to add something in my 2 week, is that I put in for vacation time, and I got approved, and I'm super pumped about it.
That is super exciting. Oh, our vacation won't come soon enough. I'm nervous, but
You'll be fine.
You'll be on vacation before me.
I will.
That's exciting.
Whole week.
No, it's not like I'm not going to be doing a lot of traveling before then and after then.
Yeah.
I'm crazy, y'all, and I'm applying for next year's shows because that's what you have to do as a vendor. You apply like 6 months to a year early for these things. And I have applied for shows that I am, in 3 months, only off 3 weekends. Yeah. And I'm literally like hopping from state to state to state to state with some long drives in there. It's crazy, I tell you. Anyway, that little tangent gave me enough to finish this row. So, let's talk about what's on the needles, what's performing this week. So the first thing for me is the Starting Point Mystery Knit Along. Again, no longer mystery, by Johi Locatelli. And I'm on clue 2 of the second half. True story, I'm also caught on a wheel of my crafting card. There we go. So, that's exciting that I'm no longer on clue 1. So, let's make sure, yeah, this is the right side. So here's where I'm at. Again, you've seen the progress of this before. This is all out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer, our MCN base, in London Fog, Double Your Pleasure, a custom speckle, Darkest Hour, and Smoky Quartz. So, and this is knit on a size 6 US 4mm needle. So, I will enjoy it when it's done. I just need to give it the love that it needs. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to start dwindling down my projects, and I'm really going to get down to like 2 works in progress. And then what did I do last night? Cast on a new project. But I told myself it's going to go super fast. It will, other than the fact of how many yards need to go into it. Alright, next up is The Girl from the Grocery Store by Johi Locatelli. And I'm so close to finishing this. That sounded weird. So close. Got a little Kiana up in there. Alright, so, no, I'm going to stop.
Most excellent.
Oh. So, I'm knitting this out of Hedgehog Fibers sock in the Juniper and Spell colorways. And, oh, I didn't weave in those 2 ends. Huh. Random. Anyway, so all the striping is done, and I talked with you last time about how I did the mini stripe. And I'm in the Feather and Fan Lace section, and I have just a few more rows to go. And then I do another little mini stripe of the Juniper, and then bind off in the Spell again. So hopefully this will be done maybe Tuesday when I go to knitting, if not before then. So I should have a finished object shawl-wise to show you next episode.
Nice.
And that's knit on a size 7 US, which is a 4.5 millimeter needle. After that, I have my A Day to Remember shawl by Joji Locatelli. We talked about this last time. This one is going to take forever. This isn't a lace weight. It's a semicircle crescent-shaped shawl out of lace weight, and I'm using Madeline Tosh Prairie in the Cove colorway, and the rows are getting decently longer. So it doesn't look very deep yet, but again, it is lace and it's going to block out. So this is where we are at. We have eyelet rows that come in from either side every so often, about halfway through. So I'm on to put in my 4th eyelet section here soon. Again, you can see the Cove colorway there. And this is knit on a size 6 US 4 millimeter needle as well. So there's that. Next up, I did cast on another new hat at the festival this weekend, but I will not work on it again until probably when we're in Texas, which I'll talk about later. And this is out of Ladies Fiber Arts box office in the Fortune Teller colorway, which is a somewhat newer colorway. It's a very dark blue, almost blackish gray blue. And so I finished the 2 inches of 2x2 ribbing that I do, and I'm in the stockinette section. But again, this probably won't get any love, so I probably won't even talk about it next episode, because I thought that we were not going to be able to record before our next show, but we actually will be recording the weekend before we leave for Texas. So, and last but not least, last night I decided to cast on for the Grandma's favorite microfiber blanket that I'm calling it, that I talked about being in rehearsal last episode. So we sat down and watched a movie last night, and I said, you know what, I'm going to break out those size 11s, and I'm going to take one of those balls of Bernat baby blanket in the Little Sandcastles colorway, and I'm going to just cast on and go to town. So I cast on 3 stitches, and you increase every other row. I've got 2 balls, or 4 balls, 300-gram balls of this yarn. How many times can I say balls? Drank. So I'm liking this. This is so going to be a nice accent on my couch. And I'm just like, it's super polyestery, but it's so soft. So it's just going to be like one of those texture blankets when you're wearing it. So by the way, I don't really watch Game of Thrones. Andy does. He's super excited for the season finale tonight. But I hold this and I go, this is my dragon egg. Which I know they're no longer in eggs. They're like full-grown dragons now going to battle and stuff. Anyway, so.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
My sister prides herself on the fact, too, that she's like, I've never seen an episode.
It's not so much that I pride myself, it's just that I don't have the time, per se.
You could find the time if you wanted to, Kelly.
I could. I really could. I'm sure.
There was one season I watched a couple episodes with Andy, but he was having to explain too much. I was like, you know what? Not invested. Don't really care. Not my genre of liking. So that, my friends, is all that I have on the needles. So I'm going to go back to my super mindless squishy microfiber.
I'm only actively working on one thing right now, and that is the back-to-school shawl. And
so in time with the calendar, too.
Yes. So it is going well. I'm using Leading Fiber Arts in the Poison Apple colorway, and then in the Redbird Egg colorway, and they're both on Showcase. The Redbird Egg is exclusive to the Les Moutons Rouge Knittery here in Central Illinois. And it's going well. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to do the Charlie Brown chevron stripe, and that'll go well. I will say that, so these are done in ISU's colorways, because that's, ISU is in Normal, Illinois, for those of you that may not know. And
that's my alma mater.
and I worked there for a number of summers, all the way from high school through college. So as extra help in their kitchen. So ISU has always held a special place in my heart because I probably would have gone there had I not have gone to Blackburn. But I might do my master's through ISU at some point when I decide to do that. But it's kind of neat because the kids are back on campus and you can always tell who's the freshman and who's not, especially when it comes to walking the streets, because the freshmen will use the crosswalks typically and the upperclassmen will not. And so therefore it's like a game of Frogger. And that sounds really mean. But on Friday morning I had to go to U of I for some testing and blood work for a research thing that I get to be a part of and get paid to be a part of, which was really why I signed up for it.
You're a paid lab rat.
Yep, it's true. But I went to campus and their move-in was that Thursday. And so I was on campus on Friday morning at 6 in the morning. And, you know, it's kind of neat to be a part of U of I as staff. You know, even though we're not on campus at all, it's kind of neat to be a part of a bigger picture. And to be able to kind of come back every once in a while throughout the school year to see the campus is really neat. Because our function is so different from everybody else on campus with extension. So we're really kind of the stewards of the campus. And to our counties to encourage kids to go to the school and, you know, all that. And there's this big revolution kind of going on with our new dean. And she wants us to be more a part of campus and campus to recognize extension, which is really awesome because there for a while it felt like we were the forgotten child of the campus. So looking for good things to come out of this partnership. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about then what's in rehearsal. What are we going to work on? Do you have any ideas what you're going to work on?
I do. As I mentioned the last time we recorded, I bought yarn for 2 more snow day shawls in my co-worker and friends in their NHL teams, the Detroit Red Wings and then the Chicago Blackhawks. So got those. And I'm hoping to have those done by the first week in October because that's when the season starts for all of us. So
best get going.
I know.
Next up for me is a free pattern on Ravelry called Plumable. And this was in my queue. And you know me and my random number generator. So just put 1 to however many items are in my queue, which are way too many, even though I cleared it out years ago. And this is by Rachel Plafchin. And it's a hat with a lace, feather and fan lace panel up the side. And it calls for some Cascade 220. So guess what? I have some stash enhancement. But I'll show you that in just a little bit. So
Neat.
That's that. I didn't have too much stuff. Alright, so let's talk about behind the scenes. What am I spinning? Well, I finished some spinning. And I finished Leading Men Fiber Arts Superwash Merino in the That Summer Somewhere colorway. And this was 3.1 ounces. And I got 366 yards of a light fingering weight, which I was pretty proud of out of pretty much 3 ounces. So this is up in the shop currently. It's been up for a few days. So if you like to knit with hand spun, but maybe don't spin or don't have the time or whatnot, this is available for purchase at Leading Men Fiber Arts shop. And so I started some new spinning, and I am spinning some Fiber Nymph Dye Works BFL and Tussa Silk that I picked up, I believe, at this. It was my first ZK Zombie Knitpocalypse, but it was the second one overall. And this is in the Baroque colorway. You know what they say: if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. So beautiful autumnal colors, because can you tell we're ready for fall to happen?
So ready.
But drink-wise, I'm not a pumpkin spice person.
Oh, I hate pumpkin spice.
But Callie got me introduced to the Strawberry Acai Refreshers. I believe that's how you say that word. I'm going to go with that if I sound confident. So I'm now addicted to those, and they're so much healthier for me than like an iced caramel macchiato or a mocha. So,
and if you want to step up your game, do the strawberry refresher with lemonade. Oh, so good. So good.
I'd probably add more calories and carbs though.
Probably. And it does. But
so
good.
So, ready for fall in terms of fiber. Still going to keep with my refresher in the drink world.
I'm so ready for apple cider. Like on the daily, well, it's not like my daily drink from Starbucks, but I do love a caramel apple spice cider. Oh, so good.
Remind me to show you something when we're done recording downstairs, by the way. Can't talk about it on here. It's kind of top secret, but...
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm spinning. All right, let's move into In the Scene Shop, our other crafting that we do. So I'm normally talking about my cross stitch, which I did get, I'll show you in a minute, in my stash enhancement, but I bought myself, or Andy bought me a birthday gift while at the Michigan Fiber Festival, which has revolutionized my cross stitching. It's sped it up a little bit. I'm still just a slow cross stitcher, but I enjoy moving at that pace, and that's all that's important. But I did take everything off the Q-snap so you can see it in all its glory. I am working on a dimensions kit. Oops, I forgot to pick something up over there too. I might have you go get it in a minute. Okay. I'm working on a dimensions kit called In the Moment, and it says Live Life in the Moment. Don't mind all my fraying edges. I have way more fabric than I need, so it's not like I'm going to fray down to my work. But I took everything off. Don't mind the wrinkliness. I'm just a hot mess all around. But you can see in, and I'm starting the next line there. So, this came with 14 count Aida, which was as stiff as a board and I hated working on. So I picked up some 28 count even weave to do this on, and I'm enjoying it so much. The new kit that I might have picked up comes with 14 count Aida, and I like the color in it, but I don't think I can work with it. I'm kind of a fabric snob, so I don't know. I might try some hand-dyed fabric when I get there. But, you know, I have a whole nother Heaven and Earth Designs kit that I bought for Christmas for myself. That's going to take me like a bajillion years, so, you know, there's that.
Roughly.
Roughly. Because it's my first full coverage, and it's probably ginormous.
Well, I have some exciting news because I have planned out my vacation and because I actually will know what my year looks like for work, which I'm, like, that is not a joke. Like, this, as much as Wednesday was stressful for me because, like, everything is not color coordinated and on my planner or in my phone yet, it is the most helpful thing to have it planned out because I told my team, I was like, this is when I'm taking vacation. And this is not negotiable. I pretty much was bossy about it, and I don't care. But I'm going to be able to get back into my quilting, which I'm really excited about because it's been a really long time. So I'm going to do some jelly roll quilts when I'm on vacation. So
I love a good jelly roll.
I can't deny a good pastry.
I meant quilt, but jelly roll too. But I'm just saying, I don't get into quilting, but whenever I see somebody like Paula from Knitting Pipeline or Leslie from the Knit Girls hold up quilting and they go, this is just a jelly roll, I'm like, I like that. That's my aesthetic. I don't get into a whole lot of quilting, but the very geometric with coordinated colors, you know, usually you buy the jelly roll kit, you know, of fabrics. And they're all meant to coordinate, so they do. Yep. I just think it's a very clean aesthetic.
Yeah, so I have 3 of those planned to do over vacation because, like, really they don't take a whole lot of time to put together the top. And I bought these 3 rolls because initially when I bought them, I was going up to Michigan to see my friend Emma, and my friend Marcella was coming with. So I assumed that we would be able to do I bought fabric for each of us to make a jelly roll quilt, and then I was going to take them to get finished, and that was everybody's Christmas present, and it's just never happened. So I guess I will take on that challenge now.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
That's exciting for you.
Yeah.
Well, let's move right along into In the Spotlight. So, what are we watching and reading? First of all, I am watching The Strain still. Enjoying that. And that's on FX. I catch up online, which as long as you have access to FX on your cable, you should have a cable login that you can use for online viewing for pretty much any cable channels that you have. And then we did watch a movie last night. We watched the latest Underworld movie with Kate Beckinsale. I don't know if it was Blood Wars or something. I don't know. It was kind of confusing, and it's kind of like Resident Evil or any of those films that just keep going, but there's several years in between each film. Like, they quickly recap. They do not previously on, but you know how movies work in what happened in the last movie. And Andy goes, I don't remember any of this. I'm like, oh, I kind of remember this. And then it just seemed kind of like a mishmash, and it moved really quickly. We enjoyed it for a Saturday night movie, but wasn't anything stellar. And then I finished listening to a book. I finished listening to Throne of Glass by Sarah Moss, I believe. It's a very well-known young adult series. That's why I picked it up. I got it on sale at Audible, and when I was still teaching, and I still think I should be involved in some of the young adult literature to be able to talk to students about it while I'm subbing. I thought it was okay. It was very reminiscent to The Red Queen, which I talked about previously. Very reminiscent. Again, formulaic writing, especially at the young adult age. So I would say it's okay. I think they have 6 or 7 books out. I watch a Floss Tube, a cross-stitch podcast called Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and she was talking about a readathon that was happening with this series to try to get through the whole series to be caught up for the new book. And I don't know if I'll listen to another one. I do that with all the series, though. It seems like Audible does that, especially I do their 2-for-1 sale, and they put in a lot of firsts in a series in the hopes that you'll kind of get enticed and want to read on. So that's all that I finished, though. I've kind of slowed down on the listening to books. I'm listening to another young adult right now. It's not catching my fancy, but it's definitely in the background while I'm listening to it. I'm not engrossed in it, but I'll tell you more about that when I finish it.
Cool. I'm still reading All These Wonders. It's a Moth radio collection. Let's see. Reading-wise, not anything really else, but last weekend, a friend of mine, we went and had lunch, and then we went to go see Girls Trip. Oh my gosh. Where do I even begin with this movie? First of all, I want to purchase it the moment it comes out. That's not even a joke. This movie is everything. It's I was trying to explain it to someone, and I was like, it's every part of every movie that you want to combine and come together. So, okay. So it's the basis of this movie is these 4 women went to college together, and they're known as the Flossy Posse, and they're just good friends and have tried to stay in touch over the years, but things happen and they haven't gotten together to do a big trip or anything. Well, one of the main characters, she invites him down for Essence Fest, and it's in New Orleans, and it's held in New Orleans every year, I'm fairly certain. But anyways, they go down and shenanigans happen. Queen Latifah, Regina Hall, Tiffany Haddish, and Jada Pinkett Smith are the main characters. And it was so good. It's got there's a fight scene in it, there's a dance off, there's good sisterhood. It's such a good movie. I actually doubled over in the theater because I was laughing so hard, and that's been a really long time that I can say that.
That's good.
And so there's a part in the movie, during Essence Fest, that they showed that had New Edition in it, and me and the friend that went to go see it, New Edition is obviously a band that has not switched up their choreography since they came out like 30-ish years ago. So it's like we were doing part of the dance moves, and so I went to go work out right after that, and I was on a stationary bike, and they have like screens where you can watch YouTube and, you know, whatever. So obviously I YouTube New Edition, because like once it's in your head, you can't really totally get it out. And so I really love this custodian, like for a number of reasons, because he never talks to me, but like I kind of feel like if like there was something that were to go down, that I know that he would make sure that I was out of there. Like, you know, like you don't have to say something, but you know he's like got you in your corner. In my head, that makes sense. Anyways, so
in my head, I just see a creepy custodian checking you out from the corner.
No.
And you're like, he's got my back.
It's true. He does. I feel like. So, like, anyways, I'm watching New Edition, and, like, he's cleaning, like, behind me, and, like, he just lingers a little too long at the... But this is, like...
What are you doing?
But, like, you have to understand, too, though. I mean, like, I'm obviously... Well, I don't want to say obviously, but I kind of set the median age down in the afternoon when I go. And so... we're a little bit closer in age than most of the other people that are in the building. So, anyways, that's not to be mean. It's not to be rude, but I have a feeling that we probably like the same music and other things. So, anyways, that's why I also feel like he's going to make sure that I get out of the building in case if there's a fire or something. So, I don't even care what that makes me sound like. I'm probably got a creepy stalker. Whatevs.
So, let's move on to stash enhancement. I think that's next. No, featured designer knit along. Yeah. Yeah, what's Kelly's done? Chugging some water after that story.
I hate you so much.
But yet we get along so well.
So well. Know that I would always save Andy over you.
I know. Legos first, though. They had some hard bonding over the double-decker bus Andy put together a couple weeks ago before we came up here.
I'm literally so jealous that he has Big Ben, too.
He's going to make a whole scene.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know what to get. We went to Legoland while we were at Stitches, and he wanted the rocket, but they didn't have it.
Right.
So I said, get Big Ben. You can make a whole scene with your double-decker bus. Where, I don't know, but...
We talked about that.
Oh, yeah. He's going to take over part of our closet. Which, by the way, our closet is like a whole nother room.
Yeah.
It's a nursery room attached to our master bedroom. So our master bedroom is essentially 2 rooms length. So.
This house, layout-wise, kind of has always confused me ever since you guys have bought it.
It's pretty much a square house with 4 squares on both levels. It's very symmetrical. And then the kitchen on the back end. But.
I don't know, I just feel like there should be anyways, tangent.
So the featured designer knit along is coming to a close pretty soon.
Yes. So it started June 1 and will end August 31. You can use any pattern from the list of featured designers that's stickied in our group. It can be a free pattern. It can be a pattern you have in your library. It can be a paid-for pattern. Anything that might have been published by them in a magazine or in a book, whatever, as long as it's made by them. You can use any base of yarn that you want to. If you use any base of Leadingman Fiber Arts, you can enter your finished object and the finished object thread twice. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a private message or earburn me. Whatevs.
Now, do you have any ideas for our next knit along, or are we going to take some time off since you're the knit along queen of our podcast?
I have not decided what our next one will be, and I would kind of like to take a little bit of time off just so that way I can get myself adjusted with work. It's going to be a big year, guys. Like, it's a big year of transition, And it kind of like excites and scares me all at the same time, because the way that our organization runs is like there's a county director, an educator, and then my role. So my educator is retiring at the end of this year, and there's 4 people that are on my team that could be eligible for her position. And so if one of our team moves, that means a whole lot of shifting. And so as much as I like to, think that that could happen and, try to plan the best way, we really don't know, because while there's 4 people qualified for it, doesn't mean that they'll get selected for an interview and then move on either way, because it's going to be open to the public, because we're a university and we have to do, a fair search. So
yep.
There is that. So big changes. And she hasn't announced when she's going to retire. She could just give 2 weeks notice, or she could, give us more time. And she's kind of in a place where she is angry at a lot of things that are happening, and I don't know where her head is. So,
well, let's talk about stash enhancement and more things being acquired, because
guess who doesn't have any? Me.
I do. I have stuff and things, and I'm at the point where I'm like, it's just okay. Go and do it. Go and buy stuff. Anyway, I needed to pick up some yarn for that new plumable hat that I'm going to knit on.
Needed to.
And yes, I did. Okay, I like to support my local yarn store. Jace. So I picked up some Cascade 220 Heathers, which is very reminiscent of the hat itself in the pattern. I actually was going to, so again, don't like to make decisions. The hat's not for me. So I went up to her wall of Cascade, because she has a wall of all the colors, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put in my random numbers generator 0 through 9, and whatever colorway ends up first me seeing with that number, I'm going to pick it up. Well, it was like 8 or something, I don't remember. And the first one I saw was like a bubblegum pink, and I was like, it's not for me. But I just can't. I couldn't. I mean, I could, but I just didn't that night. So I was like, I'll go with the...
I do like this color a lot. I've
like
actually knit with it a lot.
Yeah. And I haven't knit with a non-superwash or Cascade in a long time, so that should be a quick project. And then at the Michigan Fiber Festival, I got some things from some vendors that I've... I was across from Yarn Geek Fibers, which, if you know, I am a Yarn Geek junkie on her fiber.
She's such good people.
She is. And so I was oogling her fiber from across the aisle all weekend, and we did a little bit of a trade because it was warm on Thursday. I picked up some fans for myself and her and this other vendor, and so I traded for fans with these people. So this is some Corriedale Cross, 4 ounces in the Winter Pinoque colorway.
I like this a lot.
There's that. And then I traded for a skein of Oink Pigments sock. And she told me this is a one-of-a-kind colorway, though it is a color she normally stocks. I don't know if this was a misdye of it. This is a 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 420 yards in the Yarn Fairy colorway. Surprise I picked this color. Grays and greens. And then I went over to my wall of intermission in my booth and said, well, I need to pick out some alternating cuff, heel, toe yarn. So I picked out a skein of Lightning Bug. Isn't that just perfect? I'm just going to do some basic socks.
Nice.
Eventually. I don't know when, but eventually. And then last but not least, my big purchase was my birthday gift that Andy got me, and I'm going to try to show it to you. I can't really show you most of it, but there was a company from California, father-son, I believe, company. They do woodworking, and they had a beautiful booth and set up everything from drum carters to spinning wheels to orifice hooks to lazy Kates, looms, everything you could possibly think of. Carding boards, just amazing. So, and off to the side they had a cross-stitch stand, a stitching stand. And they are not, it is an investment like any good handcrafted tool. You are paying for quality work. So I thought about it for a day, and Andy was like, I said, well, you're going to buy me my birthday gift possibly tomorrow. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't really need to get more yarn. Now, those were trades that I did for fans because, come on. But I didn't do any other damage. And so I'm at the point where I'm like, what tools can I get now? So I got a stitching stand, and it has a very heavy metal base that you can actually put your feet on while you're stitching, which helps to balance it. But this is from Clems & Clems, which I believe is their last name. And it has a Q-snap. It can also hold a hoop head at the top. This is the 8-inch head. I also bought the 11-inch head. And you can see their brand right there. They're out of Pinole, California. And then there's this long arm that you can adjust so you can stitch standing up or sitting down at exactly the angle you need, along with the heavy base. So yes, could you get something like this at Hobby Lobby for much cheaper? That's actually where I had seen things and I had never pulled the trigger on it because I was like, I don't know how much cross-stitching I'm going to do or how much I'm going to get into it. So then what do? I find something that's much more expensive, exponentially more expensive, but I was like, again, there's something about a hand-crafted tool. So I enjoy it, and it's made cross-stitching so much more pleasurable for me, and I can cross-stitch for longer because I don't have to hold the Q-snap, and my wrist is not getting tired holding the Q-snap, and I can stitch with both hands. So I keep my left hand underneath the work and my right hand on top, and I can then, stitch with both hands. So, and that just lives over there, and I just drag it towards me by my chair and push it away. So that was my birthday gift.
Nice.
Other than going out to dinner with the fam, and we went to Texas Roadhouse, and the last few times I've had a really good meal, but we got sat at the exact table that we sat at the first time we went to that restaurant, and we had a horrible meal. And I had the same exact issue that we had the first time we ate there, where they did not cook my steak enough, and I had to send it back twice. Medium rare does not mean purple. It means pink. Anyway, felt like I was being a puss at dinner, but I wasn't. I just wanted to be able to digest my food. So.
It's funny because on Friday I was like, man, I really want some steak. And my office is, so just in case if you want to know a fun jingle. So there is I don't even know how I get myself into this. So there are two different meat places in the Bloomington Normal area. There is College Hills Meat, and that's off of College Hills, or it's off of College Street in Normal. And then there's Bloomington Meats, which their jingle is, the best meat is on Bunn Street, because the Bloomington Meats is on Bunn Street, and it's so damn catchy. Like, their jingle is so catchy. But anyways, I went after work on Friday, because it's literally like a 2-minute, drive from my office to there. But I always kind of forget who works there, because a lot of people from from high school that I went with, that I literally don't ever see, were working. And I was like, oh, hey, how are you guys doing? It's so awkward, but it is what it is. They really do have the best meat. They really do.
You got Andy a gift card there, and he went and got several different types of brats. Mm-hmm. Some we liked, some.
Yeah, they've got like 40 different brats that they do. But they do a meat bundle every month, and it's $30 flat. And you get, it ranges every month between like hamburgers to like steaks to like during the summer months, there's a lot of great barbecue packages that they put in that monthly special. And then like during the winter months, there's like more hearty, like pot roast type, meat. So it's good.
Seasonal meat.
It's good. It's good.
All right. So the last thing in the spotlight is we have a new giveaway this week. This week's giveaway is for a book called Farmhouse Knits. It's a Rowan book by Amy Butler. 20 designs. Oh, well, it says Rowan by Amy Butler. Farmhouse Knits. 20 designs by Erica Knight. using Amy Butler's Sweet Harmony. So, this was generously donated by an anonymous benefactor, our fairy yarn mother. And so, it has a lot of wonderful designs in here. Some sweaters, things for the home, mittens. There's even a chunky skirt. That is very holy. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Big hat with pom-poms. There's a chunky sweater. Boot cuffs. A wide variety of things. Mm-hmm. But, you know, ooh, some chair covers, because, you know, everybody needs a good chair cover. Maybe for your craft room, you get into that with baubles.
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
I was trying to see when the copyright date was on this, but it does not seem to.
Probably 2008.
It's on the back. 2011.
Oh, just kidding. I was testing everyone.
So if you're interested in receiving this copy, all you have to do is be a member of the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry and leave your reply to the conversation starter that I will start on Ravelry. This week's conversation starter is, if you could start any business, what would it be? Now, I know most of you are going to say something in the fiber industry. That's fine. But I'm interested to hear everything else as well. So, if you want to say you want to start yarn dyeing, awesome. That's what I did. Yes, that's what I did. That's what a lot of people do. Or opening your own yarn store. I still have dreams and aspirations of that, even though I know it's kind of like acting, right? Because, you know, that was one of my dreams as a kid. You know, the likelihood of it actually happening and succeeding is very low. From what I hear, opening a yarn store is pretty much the same thing. Unless you have to have your stars have to be aligned and you have to work really hard to make it succeed. But that's anything in business, right? So I thought this was an interesting question only for the fact that along with my birthday on Thursday, the shop's birthday was on Friday. We opened the shop the day after my birthday 4 years ago. So the shop turned 4 on Friday, which is exciting. And can't wait to turn 5 next year. That's a big milestone in terms of business. So tell me, what business would you like to start? If you had unlimited funds and you could do whatever you wanted to do, what would be the business that you want to start? And you'll be entered to win the copy of Farmhouse Knits. All right, let's move into a round of applause. So last week, our contest, it's attacking me, was for this cone of sugar and cream cotton yarn. And the conversation starter last week was, what weird food combinations do you like? And there were some weird ones in there. Because I was reading some of them and I was like, Andy, I shouldn't have started this. You know, and then some I was like, that's not weird. But I did use the random number generator for this, and it picked number 10, who is Wendy Ray, and that's Wendy from Colorado. So congratulations, Wendy. She said she likes French fries dipped in a chocolate milkshake.
Oh, that's not too weird.
I don't know. I was like, I wonder what restaurant you do that at. Because I don't know, maybe it's an Illinois thing or...
No, I mean, it's a Wendy's thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I don't know if that's everywhere. But I don't like Wendy's. It's sacrilege. Andy and my sister don't like me for that fact. But every time I eat there, their food is cold and disgusting. So, but that's just me. I'm a picky eater. Can you tell? In the last 5 minutes, I've talked about bad meals at 2 different places. So, Wendy, please email me via Ravelry, Dramatic Knits, and let me know your first and last name and mailing address, and I'll get that out into the mail as soon as possible. All right, last episode as well, we did a contest, a Knit It Forward. Rosie donated this shawl to me at Stitches Midwest. It is the Raina shawl out of some Madeline Tosh sock in the Murakami colorway, I believe. I could be wrong on that. So that's that. And all we asked for you is to tell us what was something positive that you did in the world or put out into the world in the last 2 weeks since we recorded. And that got you entered to win this beautiful shawl, which I got to see Rosie's sister at Knit Night on Tuesday, and because her sister is one of our local yarn store knitting buddies, and I said, tell Rosie her shawl's a hit. People have been oogling and ogling over it on the boards. So, I drew for a winner, and it chose number 9, who is CeeLo Dancer. That's Linda from the UK. And she said, I'm knitting colorwork mittens for a charity auction later in the year. And she said the shawl is beautiful. So congratulations, Linda. If you would please give me your first and last name, mailing address with province and all that stuff for international shipping, I will get that out to you. So congratulations. And thank you everyone who entered and shared with our Ravelry board what you did, what positive things you did. We'll have another Knit It Forward before you know it. We don't do them every episode, but we like to pass on some knitwear for some good deeds in the world. All right, last but not least, you have a few days left to enter anything you finish in the month of August into our August 2017 Race to the Finished Object contest. We'll have a prize as well as a pattern from our featured designer, who is Barbara Benson. And then I will be opening the September thread on September 1st, and we'll have a prize as well for September, as well as a new pattern from our new featured designer, who is Christopher Salas, who is now a Chicagoan, recently relocated from Reno, Nevada, and he is a knitwear designer, of course, and does some beautiful work. And just saying, hint, hint, might be working with Leading Men Fiber Arts here very soon. There might have been some yarn passing off at Stitches Midwest, but we can't talk much about it until I tell you about it later on. But it should be coming out November-ish.
Nice.
So, that's it for our regularly scheduled show. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. I don't really have anything new to show you with the terms of Leading Men Fiber Arts, like updating the shop, because, well, we had our sale on the 24th and 25th, and thank you so much. You cleared us out of a lot of stock on our online shop, so I updated a whole bunch of stuff, and it all sold, pretty much. So, not all of it, but I did update a few new things yesterday. I updated a new Showstopper Gradient in the True Turquoise colorway, as well as a new Ground Pepper sweater kit, which I don't think I've ever shown on the show, but Ground Pepper is a beautiful sport weight sweater. It's a classic V-neck sweater, and it lets the yarn sing. It's a simple sweater, and so the yarn is dyed in a speckled gradient, and you can either do it from the darkest at the top, like the design has it, down to faded to the almost cream color at the bottom, or you could switch that up. They've been going very, very well online and selling well at shows. So we are busy dyeing up new colors for Stitches Texas, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And so those are some new things in the shop. I'll be updating some new project bags here very soon. And yeah. So September 1st is a new month, and we took August off from a new colorway because we were vending at Stitches Midwest. Excuse me, as well as a few other things. But as I said last episode, we were going to have a new colorway for September, and it is in honor of our friend Sarah Abram, who's a designer, again, out of Chicago, who just had a wee little one, who is Maxwell Jupiter. And so Sarah kind of put the thought in her head of doing a colorway for Max, and so we worked with her, and this is the colorway for September called King Max, and it is inspired by Where the Wild Things Are. So it's a very light blue base with speckles of brown and gray and a gold and two different types of green, like an apple green and a sagey green. And so this is unskein, so I haven't really, or it's not reskeined, so the speckles aren't kind of distributed throughout the skein. This is one I'm going to be balling up to knit a swatch and a hat with here very soon on our box office space. But we will have pre-orders up for everything in the shop, every base we offer. So other than intermission, which is our half skeins of the Showstopper, we tend to keep those for semi-solid colors. So this is King Max. It'll be up from September 1st through September 8th pre-orders, and it will ship out by the end of the month. Usually it ships out within a week of your the date you ordered it. And speaking of that, I will tell you that we have a base that is going to be discontinued here soon. It'll be in the shop as long and in our booth as long as we have stock. But that is our Playbill base. It's our single ply DK weight base. We've just realized there's not a huge calling for it, and so we want to bring in some other new bases. So we're decided to kind of phase that one out. So if you're interested in the single ply DK, it's great for hats, cowls, things of that nature that don't get a lot of friction. Mittens might not be great, only depending on how you're going to wear them, because that single ply can pill. So we have decided to kind of phase that out, so we're not ordering anymore. What we have is what we have, and then we look forward. We have a new base we want to experiment on, but we'll see kind of where that goes and what our next base we'll bring in will be. So that's that, and then let me talk to you about upcoming shows. So we have 3 events in the month of September, so I thought I'd cover those really quickly. First up for us is Stitches, Texas, and that's in Irving, Texas, right outside of Dallas-Fort Worth area, and that's September 14th through 17th. So we're super excited to be venturing our way down to Texas and see what that crowd's like, and to meet some new people down there that we've never had the pleasure of meeting because we've never traveled that far before. So if you're in the area, come on down to Texas, and I think the market's going to be a little bit more intimate than, say, Midwest, but that'll be very nice for you to be able to kind of talk with more people and to get to, you know, help coordinate projects and do more things than sometimes I feel like I don't get the opportunity to do at Midwest. So then we have a trunk show the following weekend. We're going to be at the Black Sheep Yarn and Fiber shop in Noblesville, Indiana. And that's September 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's a Saturday. Andy and I will be there all day to kind of chit-chat and help people select projects or yarns or answer questions. And so we hope if you're in the Indianapolis area that you can check out the Black Sheep Yarn and Fiber Company. Then the following weekend, I am going to be vending at the Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool Festival. I'm not sure if my sister will be coming. Just depends on her schedule. Right now it looks like she's going to be subbing for this semester, so we don't know what her schedule looks like. But that is September 30th and October 1st. That's a Saturday and Sunday show, and that's in West Branch, Michigan. So that's quite a drive. So I'm going to literally Texas, Indiana, Michigan every week for 3 weeks. So bit crazy, but that's the life I want to lead, is want to be a wool merchant, traveling all over the place. So, those are upcoming shows. If you have any questions, you can always email me at Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, or you can email any shop questions to leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com. And if you're ever wondering where we're going to be, shows and festival-wise, at the bottom of our shop page, which is leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com, there is a tab labeled Shows and Festivals, and you can check out where we're going to be there. If you're also ever wondering what to do with your Leading Men Fiber Arts yarn, there is another tab for pattern ideas that will take you to the Ravelry page that searches up our yarns and gives you all the patterns designed out of our yarn as well. So, I think that pretty much covers everything. We hope you enjoyed today's show. I know we're happy to sit down and chit-chat with you guys, and we can't wait to do it in another 2 weeks right before we're heading out to Texas. So there's that. I get to spend another weekend at home, which is 2 weekends at home actually, which is super exciting. I had got to not travel anywhere this weekend, and it was a bit odd. So yeah. So anyway, until we see you again,
we hope you
knit something dramatic.